Okay, fellas, spoke to you both in the dressing room. You both know I expect. Keep it clean, break straight away when told. Both watch your heads in close. Good luck to you both. Touch luck. Good luck, lads.
So the Commonwealth vacant title at featherweight. Leigh Wood and Abraham Bonsu hoping this could be a stepping stone to bigger things, following the likes of, and you heard Scott Harrison's name mentioned. You heard Azuma Nelson's name mentioned, Colin McMillan, Paul Ingle, Josh Warrington, Lee Selby, the great Johnny Famishon, the old Aussie back in the day, all held this belt, all went on to be world champions, and that's got to be the dream of these two, but it's one step at a time. Wood from Nottingham, Carl Froch's hometown, in the white with the black trim, and in the zebra print, it's Abraham Bonsu, the gritty man from Accra, Ghana, scheduled for 12. There's a measured start this from Wood, who hasn't had a lot of rounds. In the last 3 years, he's had a 4-rounder and 2 6-rounders. Just hasn't been active at all. He's had management issues. He's had a shoulder problem. He's kept his same trainer, Ian Grant, but he's moved from the Brendan Ingle gym, the old Winco Bank gym in Sheffield, the legendary gym, and is now managed by Dave Coldwell, and we'll talk about that more over the course of this fight as well, because talking to Dave Coldwell about this guy during the week, he said, look, there's no pressure on him because this is a bonus. He wasn't expecting to fight for a title, and I've managed to secure this for him. But also, he's in no man's land if he doesn't win it.
Yeah, he's made a very good start, Nick. He's came out, he's claimed the centre of the ring, he's taken his time. It looks like he's picking his punches as well, where before everything seemed to be a little bit rushed, but he's doing everything behind the jab. He's looking for gaps. He's putting his punches together really quite well. He's shown a little bit of variety, so let's see if this is going to be a really impressive performance from Wood.
Well, Bonsu, in contrast, is looking pretty tentative and cagey here, up against the ropes. Maybe he's happy there. But Wood is able to just, as you say, get that jab going and pick those body shots very well. Yeah,
he's showing lots of variety here, which I don't really think he's done a lot of in the past. There he's switched up now. I didn't really think there was any great need for him to switch. He seemed to be being quite successful as an orthodox fighter. So I think he could have just stuck with his tactics that he was using, and and stayed behind a nice steady jab and tried to look for gaps and try and open Bonsu up. He seems to be quite defensive, Nick, which is unusual from the guys from Accra. They normally come out, try and claim the centre of the ring, let go with some big shots to start, but this guy looks really tentative and not too confident at this point.
Well, certainly, Dave Coldwell was telling me, he said, we expect to come forward tough as you like, Ghanaian fighter, because that, as you say, that's the template, isn't it?
That's normally what you get,
This guy's shown us something different here early on. Now Wood has him up against the ropes, where he does, as I say, seem to be very happy.
Yeah.
It's not as if Wood is necessarily forcing him back. He's just happy to box off the back foot with his back on the ropes. Bonsu, who comes into this one, had a 2-round victory last time out, but prior to that had lost 3 of his last 5, although he will say, well, 2 of those were split decisions over 12 rounds for the national title. And he's coming down as well as the bell goes to the end of the first round. This is his first fight at featherweight. He's a natural super feather. But Wood will think, well, that's all right. That's how I want to start.
He actually looks a weight class below Wood.
Steve Bowen working the corner for Abraham Bonsu, stressing the jab. Didn't see a jab from Bonsu in that first round.
No. He's asking him to get as many jabs off as he can.
And there is Jordan Gill, who's our headliner in our main event. Jordan Gill and Leigh Wood are the best of mates. Roommates, know each other very, very well. That's Dave Coldwell on the left, who is the trainer of Jordan Gill and the manager of Leigh Wood. And the reason he's managing Leigh Wood is because Jordan Gill said, hey, can you look after my buddy?
There you go. What about that?
Yeah, that's connections for you.
Yeah, sure is.
Round 2 then. Nottingham's Leigh Wood, having claimed the first round against the surprisingly tentative Abraham Bonsu. Now, will he listen to Steve Bowen's instructions and try and get the jab going, because he really was happy just to work behind a defensive shell in that opening 3 minutes. Got caught there with a left hand. Not seeing a lot of head movement from Bonsu early in this fight.
Wood really being patient, and just taking his time, looking for some gaps and some leaks in the Bonsu defence. I think that doing exactly what he's doing and using his jab to try and open up some other doors and create himself some opportunities rather than just, you know, just going for it gung-ho. He's going about it the smart way, and he's looking quite good here.
Well, the contrast from that fight against Gavin McDonnell for the British title 6 years ago couldn't be more marked when he went off, like, as you say, went off like Usain Bolt in the 100-metre final in the Olympics, and
far too fast,
and was done by the end of round 4 and stopped in 6. He's not going to make that mistake again.
Inexperience up against a taller, more experienced guy.
That's a nice body shot. Bonsu doesn't like those body shots. He felt that one, that right hand. And Wood's gone in on him and put him away. Well, it was that first right hand that absolutely sucked the wind out of Bonsu, and Wood was straight on him. And the first knockdown comes early, and he's still got best part of a minute and a half of this second round to get through here, Bonsu, and Wood knows he can hurt him with body shots.
Not rushing in, still taking his time, looking really good here, and being really cautious about what he does. I think he's trying to look really good here and show the people that he's, you know, that he's on the way up. He's looking to pick his shots. Perhaps should have maybe jumped on him a little bit more than he has, to be fair. He looked quite hurt there, Bonsu.
Bonsu just going into survival mode even more now. Just trying to get through. Say, Wood in no hurry, and perhaps he should have just gone through the gears a little bit more. As in the 45 seconds that have elapsed since Bonsu's got off the floor, Wood hasn't asked him any questions at all.
Yeah, could have put a little bit more pressure on him, try to unsettle him a little bit more, and maybe even force a stoppage nice and early, which would have made a real statement, Nick.
Well, there's that right to the body, follows up. That right did the damage again. And he followed to the body, then another right hand, and it was the accumulation done for Bonsu here. And Howard Foster says, and well, Leigh Wood, in night for him, and he has wackular fashion, and Abraham Bonsu does not follow in the line of the likes of Richard Comey and Ike Quarty and the great Azuma Nelson, because he subsided pretty quickly once that first body shot, that right hand had sunk in there. You knew this was just going to be a matter of time. Yeah,
it was, and the big surprise for me was that Wood didn't jump on him that little bit quicker, but he got the job done nonetheless. He was patient, he picked his punches really, really well, he took his time, and he looked for those gaps behind the jab rather than rush in and maybe like leave himself in an opportunity to be countered. So you've got to take your hat off to Wood for that. That was a good performance.
It's a really good night for him, as Dave Colwell, his manager, is now just giving him a little bit of a pep talk, and Bonsu is probably just so disappointed and frustrated on what was the biggest night for him. But Leigh Wood has had so much to endure. Nothing has gone right for him in the last 3 years. He's thought about packing it in. He's virtually been inactive. Suddenly, out of nowhere, he gets an opportunity for a title on a televised fight, and he's put on a show, and this is how he did it.
Yeah, good right hook to the body. Bonsu clearly uncomfortable, followed by another left hook, another right hook to the body. Switches up after a couple of light head shots. Just giving Bonsu enough to think about with the head shots, just to preoccupy his mind a little bit before switching downstairs and landing those hurtful body shots.
It was clinical, wasn't it? Unhurried, as you say. Didn't press the panic button, didn't try and go for the highlight reel, just made sure he got the job finished. He
took his time, he'd done it all behind a steady jab, picked his punches really quite well. Looked very professional, Nick.
Disappointed with Bonsu, considering he's come halfway around the world for a title fight, and never really showed us what he's got. No,
never at any point did he look like he was in the fight at all. He looked a little bit of a victim to me, you know, tonight, and maybe training never went well, maybe he isn't, you know, at that actual Commonwealth level, you know. It's it was a bit of a massacre, I have to be really honest. But we've done it, and he done it well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the contest came to an end after 2 minutes and 43 seconds of round number 2. Abraham Bonsu failing to beat referee Howard Foster's count of 10. Therefore, your winner by count out, and the new Commonwealth Featherweight Champion, Leigh Wood!
The last two wearers of that belt, Josh Warrington, Lee Selby.